What would happen if you took the core gameplay of Valve's Left 4 Dead games and introduced whole new levels of depth, strategy, character customization, and more? Well, you get the Payday games, of course. This video series is going to take a look at the Payday games, gameplay, story, history of the franchise, along with my thoughts on the games along the way. There is a lot to talk about with this series, so let's not delay. First up, Payday the Heist.
Alright guys, listen up. Good news and bad news. We got a go from our insider. He hid the thermite and the drill in the server room, but he bailed. The bank manager's got the key card to get in there. Let's get it on.
Developed by Overkill Software and published by Sony Online Entertainment, the original Payday the Heist was released October 18, 2011 on PC and PS3. It was a decent success right out of the gate, and after its first year following release, the game had sold around 700,000 copies. Not bad for the studio's first major release. Following more closely to the formula laid by Left 4 Dead, Payday the Heist is a 4-player, co-op, first-person shooter with a focus on professional criminals rather than a zombie outbreak. Crews work together to pull off a wide variety of jobs from bank heists to armored car robberies and even stealing expensive diamonds, all while fending off never-ending waves of police units. As I said before, Left 4 Dead is a big inspiration into the core design of Payday. From the endless hordes of police to the introduction of elite units that mirror Left 4 Dead's Special Infected, down to the levels having their very own movie poster loading screens. Before hopping into the action, players get the opportunity to customize their loadout. The options are not very expansive. Each player can select both a primary and secondary weapon, as well as a handgun, a piece of equipment such as a doctor bag or trip mines, and a special bonus for their character such as an improved toolkit or extra cable ties. There's a total of 11 weapons that can be unlocked between the 4 classes. Each class has certain skills that are unlockable by gaining reputation, basically this game's name for experience. The higher your reputation becomes, the more skills and equipment you unlock. Things like body armor, extra cable ties used for taking hostages, improved toolkits, medic and ammo bags for picking up health and ammo during a heist are many of the upgrades that become available through playing the game. Players can also change their masks between a number of different pre-made sets, the most iconic being the clown masks that have become the major identifying trait of the series. Other sets include US presidents, Halloween monsters, memes, and even infected zombies. Some of these mask sets are unlockable by completing various tasks or challenges in the game. As a job begins, the crew has a few brief moments to do some light reconnaissance work. This is necessary each time you play because a major part of Payday's game loop is that aspects of each level will be randomly generated each time you play. For example, in the first world bank job, players need to find the location of the bank's manager, who is holding a key card to a locked office that the players need to gain access to. The location of the bank manager whom you need to steal the keycard from will be different each time you play, appearing in one of a number of pre-programmed spots around the level. Similarly, in the Green Bridge job, you are tasked with extracting a prisoner by air. The pilot flying overhead will sometimes grab the prisoner on his first try, and other times he will miss, which will require the players to hold out while he circles back around for another pass.
What? Is he high or something?
Having these randomized elements in the levels make the game very replayable. This is a system implemented by many roguelike games today. Even if you've played a level 10 times, you constantly have to pay attention while you are playing and adapt to certain situations on the fly, making each time you play engaging. No 2 attempts play out the same. After you've completed scouting the joint, it's time to kick things off and don your disguises. In a basic sense, the gameplay consists of completing objectives and fending off waves of police. Objectives can be a number of different tasks, such as hacking a computer, escorting a person, or placing a tool like a drill or saw. While each of these tasks are different in terms of the gameplay, they end up boiling down to holding your interact key for a couple of seconds and being mindful of problems that arise. In regards to the drills and saws, they operate on a set timer. Typically, you will need to hold down a specific spot and wait for the tool to finish its job. However, these drills and saws can break down in the middle of a job, which pauses the timer and requires a player to go over and reset it. The characters in the game often comment on how crappy the tools are, but while playing, it never becomes that big of an annoyance. If anything, the long wait times where you're fighting off waves of cops are more annoying than the drills themselves. Pretty much all the timers in-game take close to 5 real-time minutes. not including the breakdown times. Due to the nature of the cop AI, it can become very annoying to hold off for that long. Speaking of the AI, enemy forces are surprisingly difficult in Payday. The key difference between Payday and Left 4 Dead is that the enemies themselves have guns that are always firing at you and force the player to take cover. Even on the normal difficulty level, you will have a hard time successfully pulling off jobs on your own. The game is designed with co-op in mind, and is required should you want to play on any of the game's harder difficulties. Playing into the difficulty of the game, most enemies wear bulletproof vests, which make body shots ineffective. As a result of this, the game places a bigger emphasis on headshots to successfully take down enemies as efficiently as possible. This aspect sets Payday apart from many other first-person shooters. Players need to hone their skills enough to go for the head in every encounter and really perfect their aim. Even though they prove to be a decent challenge, the enemies offer a good amount of variety. Beyond the regular SWAT team enemy fodder, special law enforcement enemies can appear and are designed to make you further adapt to the situation during combat. Shields, enemies who carry a massive bulletproof riot shield which causes the player to maneuver around them in order to find a weak spot.
I'm out of here. Shoot!
Tasers, designated by their yellow armor, will charge up a taser shot. Should this shot land, it freezes the player in place, opening them up to all incoming enemy fire. In addition to this, muscle spasms cause your character to continually fire their weapon in the direction you are looking. This can prove beneficial to you if you're able to hit the enemy tasing you, which will break you free and allow you to escape. However, should you miss your target, you will be caught with no defense and no way to reload your weapon. Snipers are pretty self-explanatory. They will plant themselves in other buildings and will take precise and hard-hitting shots. Good use of cover is the best strategy to fight these guys. Cloakers are essentially the witch of Payday. Decked out in stealth gear and night vision goggles, cloakers will charge towards players with an iconic screech. And should they close the distance to you, they will automatically handcuff you, acting as though you've been knocked down. In order to get out, you will need one of your allies to come and free you. If the cloaker is the witch of Payday, then the bulldozers are basically the tanks. Complete with bomb squad armor and a shotgun, these guys can deal and take a lot of damage. It will often take a well-coordinated team to take them down fast. Players need to use all the tools at their disposal in order to fend off the enemies. Having a varied team makeup is the best course of action. One person can be responsible for bringing ammo bags to resupply the team during firefights. One can be responsible as the team medic to bring the doctor bags that teammates can use to heal. And one can use the improved toolkit to focus on making the job run more efficiently. Teams can get by using other strategies, but a well-balanced team is the best strategy to have all the bases covered. As was mentioned above, should a player take too much damage, they will be knocked down and will need to be revived by a teammate. Should no team members be able to recover the downed player, then the player will be captured and put into custody, forced to sit out. But it isn't necessarily the end of the line there. Each player comes equipped with some cable ties that they can use to tie up civilians. Whenever there is a lull in the fighting, if a team has any hostages in their possession, they will be given the opportunity to trade a hostage with the police in order to get their lost teammate back. Players need to be mindful of their hostages, however, because during the swarms of police officers, they are able to find and release the hostages on their own. Eventually, players will reach their goal in locating and securing the loot they are after, but the job doesn't end there. They need to get out alive. Sometimes this is as simple as getting to a specific area of the level, but other times there will be extra steps involved in making it out, and the game rewards players who are able to escape with all 4 of their teammates in one piece. That covers the fundamentals of the game. Pick a heist, case a joint, complete objectives, defend against endless police forces, and get away with your reward. While the gameplay experience is relatively similar between most of the levels, the settings of each level are what make them interesting. As I mentioned above, the First World Bank is the classic bank vault heist. In Counterfeit, you infiltrate a peaceful-seeming suburb in an attempt to steal a family's illegal money printing plates. If you want some extra loot, you can choose to stay and print some dough for the road, at the cost of having to hold out longer against the police. An apartment building drug den is the setting for Panic Room, where instead of heisting drugs, you are airlifting out an entire safe room full of money. There is one heist in particular that features an alternative playstyle. Pretty much all of the heists in Payday the Heist are designed to be played loud, guns blazing. But in the Diamond Heist job, you are actually able to complete the entire job in stealth. sneaking around, taking out cameras, hacking access points, and eventually opening a secure vault to steal some precious gems. The stealth gameplay is much harder to successfully pull off than just blasting everyone in sight, but it does offer a great change of pace and new objectives and playstyles to try. And if the similarities to Left 4 Dead weren't plentiful enough already, there is even a heist that is Left 4 Dead themed, made in collaboration with Valve. Making a return from Left 4 Dead is the No Mercy Hospital, although this time it is in a bombed-out, zombie-filled hospital. It's a seemingly normal hospital, though the Payday crew has been tasked to steal blood samples from an unidentified special patient. After breaking into the intensive care wing and bursting into the proper room, the gang has to start extracting blood samples. Slowly, the patient starts to resemble a zombie, the more blood that is removed until finally on the way out, the hospital is hit by the military, basically leading into the outbreak in Left 4 Dead. The heist serves as a pretty neat prequel to some of the events found in the original Left 4 Dead. Each of the heists has their own personality, which is good because it means that the levels never really get boring to play. They all stand apart visually and offer unique types of mission objectives. Sure, there isn't many levels, 9 in total, but it still feels like a good amount of variety. In summary, Payday the Heist is a great first attempt at a game looking to expand on the systems present in Left 4 Dead while also solidifying its place as one of the go-to crime heist games on the market. The gameplay can be repetitive, but it's varied enough that it's hard to get bored by. The difficulty presents a challenge and can sometimes become annoying or even unfair at times when playing on your own. Playing with other actual players can help remedy this, but you need to be a really great player in order to be successful on your own. The graphics are quite dated, even for 2011 standards. This can be attributed to a number of different factors, from the size of the development team to the often awkward diesel engine that the game runs on. Graphics don't always make a good game, but it certainly doesn't hurt to have a game that's nice to look at. Overkill knew that they had the beginnings of something great with Payday the Heist, and with the help of some influential content creators on YouTube, the game found its way to more and more people until they had a nice community that continued to grow. So it was only a matter of time until they decided to start working on a sequel. Thanks for watching part 1 of this Payday series. Stay tuned next week for part 2, where I'll dive into Payday 2, and the following week where I'll be tackling some bonus games as well as the future of the franchise. See you in the next one.